What's up, Jets fans? It's Christian from the Jets Report, and today I'm joined by a special guest, woke_Jimmy, as some of you may know from Twitter. Jimmy, what's up, man?
How we doing? It's a blessing to be on here. I guess this is my official face reveal that I promised my followers at 500 followers. I think I'm at like 670 or something now, but here we are.
It's big time. I'll link Jimmy's stuff in the bio below. Go check out his Twitter. He posts great content all the time, every day. And, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the Jets-Jags game. Big win for the Jets. Zach Wilson looked great. We overcame a lot of COVID issues, but what were your thoughts on the game, Jimmy?
Yeah, I think Connor Hughes said it best. I think it was a big step forward for Zach Wilson. His stat line wasn't all that flashy. If you just look at the stats, you're going to say Trevor Lawrence obviously played better, but if you actually watch the game, it was clear that Zach Wilson was progressing. We've talked about how he had to capitalize on coming back from that injury, watching Mike White play, watching Joe Flacco play. And up until Sunday, I don't really know if we saw that. There's one play that sticks out to me in general. I believe it was a 4th and 3 in the second quarter. And he was going through his progressions, whatever. He got time. And you saw him literally move his feet like we haven't seen him do this before. He was able to move his feet to his target, hit Braxton Berrios in stride for a 15-yard gain. And just the way that he went through his progressions, it was just very impressive. And we haven't seen that from him. And it was the BYU Zach Wilson that we've been waiting to see. And I just thought it was great to see that. Obviously we saw the flashy 52-yard run or whatever it was on the first drive. That was impressive in itself, just showed how much of an athlete he is. We saw Trevor Lawrence do it later in the game on that last drive, but I think the difference is that Zach Wilson, he extended that play. He could have easily went out of bounds at whatever it was, the 20, 15-yard line, but he extended the play and he got in for a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence didn't do that. He went out at the 5 and they didn't score and they lost the game. So I thought it was impressive from Zach Wilson. I thought he did a really good job. And these last 2 games are going to be tough for him, but I just thought it was really good to see.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it his best game, but I would definitely call it his most comfortable game. Stat line wise, obviously he didn't have a lot of passing yards. He had a great rushing day, but the fact that he used his legs just shows the game slowing down for him. He's so much more comfortable. By no means, he's not like a Lamar Jackson level mobile type quarterback, but he's an athlete, and he showed that. He looks so comfortable. And I totally agree that 3rd and 9 conversion to Braxton Berrios is easily the biggest play of the game. Huge turning point. If we don't get that, the outcome could have been very different. So that was huge for Zach Wilson. Another thing I want to talk about is the guys stepping up with the COVID issues. We had no names coming in, guys playing different positions. And someone that really stood out to me was Jason Pinnock playing safety. Huge day from him. I think he was the highest graded player in our team, or second highest graded. And that's an awesome thing to see. Another Joe Douglas rookie from this class. And safety is no guarantee for us. It's no sure thing right now. And honestly, these last 2 games, I want to see Jason Pinnock get some reps at safety and see what he could do, because we're going to have to assess the position for the offseason. There's people that want Kyle Hamilton. There's people that might want to re-sign a guy like LaMarcus Joyner. So I'm all for seeing what a guy like Jason Pinnock can do at safety, because he looks so natural at the position and he looks super comfortable. But, just big win in general. And I know a lot of Jets fans are happy. Some people wanted to lose the game for the draft position, but with a young team, you want to see your team go out there and win. It's a big confidence booster. It's a big statement for the guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason Pinnock, he's a natural corner, but it was good to see him go out there and have a performance like that at safety. They needed that. Another guy that stepped in was Will Parks. The dude was signed like 2 or 3 days before the game, and he was one of the highest graded players by PFF in that game.
He might have been the highest.
PFF.
Yeah, I know.
He was. It was him and Pinnock up there. I don't like PFF, but I think it's definitely something
it's
to
good
note.
in some cases. It's not. You don't base your whole argument off of PFF by any means.
Yeah, there was one play from Pinnock that stood out. Trevor Lawrence was trying to go deep downfield, and he lobbed one to Marvin Jones, and Pinnock read it well. He ran like halfway across the field and crushed Marvin Jones. It was incomplete, and that was his big play in the game. That would have been like a 40-yard game. Would have set them up like a 1st and goal from the 5. So I thought that was impressive, especially from someone who's not a natural safety, who hasn't really gotten a shot at corner, because Bryce Hall and Brandon Echols have been very good this year. Bryce Hall specifically, but it was good to see him go out there, have a good performance, and hopefully he can build off of it this week. I don't know if he's going to get another shot with Ashton Davis and Elijah Riley coming back, but those are honestly four guys that have proven that they can be players in this league. So that was good to see. But I mean, this weekend, hopefully he gets another shot, but we'll see.
Yeah, so now moving on to this weekend, we got a big matchup against the Bucks coming up. Definitely not going to be an easy one, but it's probably the last time we play Tom Brady in his career, so it should be a monumental one. We're at home, defending Super Bowl champions. You know, we're a young team. The outcome might not be the best, but there's a lot of things that we can improve on. I just want to know your thoughts and see what you're looking for that game.
I mean, obviously, it'll be great to upset Tom Brady at home. I don't know if that's going to happen, but yeah, it's going
Yeah,
to be
absolutely.
tough, specifically for Zach Wilson. I mean, with Corey Davis and Elijah Moore, Jamison Crowder being out last week and probably the same this week, it's definitely going to be tough. I mean, people forget how good that Bucks defense is. They haven't had the best year, but I mean, they basically carried them to the Super Bowl last year. They shut down Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be tough, but I'm excited to see what Zach, can do. I mean, I'd say it's a win-win situation. I mean, nobody's expecting him to go out there and have 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but I'd like to see what he can do. I mean, it's going to be. I mean, Braxton Berrios is wide receiver one. I mean, he's been solid this year, but the Bucks have a good secondary. I know that Sean Murphy Bunting and I think Carlton Davis just went on the COVID list, but with the new changes to the protocols, they might still be in. But I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's obviously going to be tough, but you know, the expectations aren't high. But it would be great to upset Tom Brady. That'd be sick, but I don't know if that's going to happen. These last two games are really going to be they're going to be tough for Zach Wilson, but I'm excited for his opportunity. I'm sure he is, and it'll be good to see what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of got nothing to lose going in the game or just, go out there and see what we could do. But I know the Bucks are dealing with a lot of COVID things. You mentioned their two defensive backs. Also, Mike Evans is going on the COVID list. But it's going to be tough for Zach. Without Corey Davis and Elijah Moore, like you said, we don't have a guy that can get separation. Braxton Berrios is great, but he's no wide receiver one by any means. And a guy like Denzel Mims is really struggling. And a guy like Keelan Cole, we already know what Keelan Cole is. There's not really any upside to him. He's just like a solid wider depth wide receiver. So, I think we're going to rely a lot on Michael Carter and Tevin Coleman, who have been very good. I mean, they've shown out really well these past couple of weeks and see what happens. Obviously, I'm not expecting a win, but like you said, if we can upset Tom Brady the last time we play them, that'll be awesome. But I'm just looking to get Zach some more film and get the rookies out there, get them experience, and that's all we could really hope for going into that game. But now to move on and talk about something that excites all Jets fans every year, it's kind of like our big thing, the NFL draft, the upcoming off season. It's a time where optimism is high and we get very high on a lot of players and it's big moment for our team. So moving on to the draft, we obviously have 2 first-round picks, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on what you want to do with those picks. There's a lot of controversy. I have my opinions, which I'll talk about later, but what are you looking to do with those 2 first-round picks with the state of the team at the moment?
Well, obviously, this defense needs a lot of work, and there is some great defensive talent at the top of this draft. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeau, Aiden Hutchinson, Kyle Hamilton, but I don't think we're going to be in position to grab one of those 2 edge rushers at this point. I think we have the 4th overall pick. They're probably going to go 1 and 2, which stinks. But I mean, I hope we keep winning. I don't really care about tanking right now. I think that's dumb, but that's a story for another day. But I really want to go to get another playmaker for Zach Wilson. I think that's extremely important. I mean, we've seen these past couple of weeks without his top playmakers what happens. I think if we can get somebody like Jameson Williams, that'd be really good for him. He would complement Corey Davis and Elijah Moore really well. And then in free agency, there's guys like Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin. I mean, obviously Devontae Adams, but I don't see him hitting the market. But it should be interesting. I mean, obviously, I'd love to get one of those 2 edge rushers. I don't think it's going to happen. Kyle Hamilton's a really good option, but a lot of people don't see the Jets going with a safety in the top 10, especially with what happened with Jamal Adams. But I think those 2 are 2 different players, 2 different personalities. But yeah, I feel like the approach in the draft should be go get playmakers for Zach Wilson. I saw somebody today mock Evan Neal to the Jets. I really don't think that's happening, especially because we have 3 good tackles on the roster. And everybody forgets about what Mekhi Becton can do and what George Fant has done this year. Morgan Moses at right tackle. So yeah, I feel like the priority should be go get one of those receivers for Zach Wilson. I mean, as I said, I like Jamison Williams personally, but there's a guy like Garrett Wilson you can go get, Chris Olave. I mean, there's a ton of options, but that's where I stand currently.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Obviously, if we could get a Hutchinson or Thibodeau, that would be awesome. But I don't think we're. I think they're going 1-2 as well, so I don't think we get them. But I'm all for getting a playmaker for Zach because as we see now, you can't have enough playmakers. A lot of people, including me, thought going this season this is the best state that the Jets wide receiver room has been in a while. But injuries happen, and it's very obvious and very clear now. Obviously, we don't have Davis or Moore, so we're very thin at that position, and getting a guy like Jameson Williams or Garrett Wilson would be huge. Right now, I'm still trying to figure out who I have over the other. I'm kind of leaning towards Williams, but Garrett Wilson's right there as well. So either one, I would be totally happy with at the moment. And I know there's also a lot of talk about getting a guy like Tyler Linderbaum, but I'm not really on that boat. I feel like picking him in the top 10 is a little bit of a reach. And
I agree. I
that's more,
really agree with
yeah,
that.
that's more drafting for need. But at the state of our team, we have so many holes. We don't need a draft for need. We're at the position we go and we get the best player at any position. And I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding Kyle Hamilton. And I'm not a huge fan. I think he's a great player, and it's nothing with the Jamal Adams bias that a lot of other people have. I just think I'd rather go and get a corner like Stingley. Obviously, there's a lot of injury concerns surrounding him, and we're gonna have to see how he tests out medically. But I think a guy like Stingley across from Bryce Hall with Michael Carter the second in the slot, and like Brandon Eccles is more of a depth piece because, as we know, injuries happen all the time, and especially for us. So, I mean, I think Stingley would really bolster that secondary. But either way, I think we have to prioritize getting a playmaker for Zach Wilson, preferably at the moment with that Seattle pick. And then also in like round 2, we go and get a tight end and maybe some offensive line at that moment. But I think we got to prioritize receiver and defensive back at the moment currently with the draft situation. I mean,
I have two things I want to say about that. Number one, the Linderbaum thing. I think he is going to be a phenomenal player in this league. I mean,
absolutely.
we've
But
seen what we've seen what Creed Humphrey has done this year. I mean, arguably the best center in football right now. But I think Connor McGovern has had a great year, like a fantastic year. According to PFF, he's a top 10 center in the league. And the dude stays healthy. I mean, this is the first injury he's had in like 60 games or something crazy.
yeah,
And I don't think it's worth it to go grab a center in the top 10 when you already have a good one. And then secondly, in terms of the corner, I mean, Robert Sala's defense does not rely on having a number one shutdown corner, which I actually think we have in Bryce Hall, but it relies on getting to the passer. I mean, in 2019, they took Nick Bosa, and that really unlocked their defense. I mean, they went from a 4-12 team, whatever they were, to a 13-3 team. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen with the Jets if we get Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau, but it would really help to get an edge rusher like one of those two.
yeah, absolutely. I was kind of looking at the edge rusher position because I totally agree with that statement about Robert Sala's defense. But at our draft position, I don't think we get Hutchinson or Thibodeau, and a guy like George Karlaftis out of Purdue. I hear people talking about him. I'm not a fan of him, to be honest. I think he's a little stiff, and I don't really like his explosiveness off the edge. I feel like we got it. Like he's not the type of guy to pin his ears back and just get after the quarterback, and that's who you kind of need in the Robert Saleh defense. And I think we also get an upgrade with Carl Lawson coming back. So I don't know at our position. I don't know how much we could do. We might have to target that more in free agency. And I also totally agree with your statement about the Jets offensive line. We get a guy like Becton coming back next year, AVT at left guard, McGovern at center. Right guard, we have LDT, but we could also go out and get a big name guy. I'm pretty sure Brendan Sheriff's going to be on the market, someone like that. And then at right tackle, we have Moses, Fant. We actually have a very solid offensive line. And a lot of people don't give this interior offensive line a lot of credit as they should get from how they've been playing. They all want the flashy draft picks, but a guy like Connor McGovern's been super solid. And if we draft a center, how much higher of expectations are you going to have for them than how Connor McGovern is playing right now? I mean, he's arguably a top 7 center right now, easily top 10 in my opinion. So, I'm really happy with this offensive line. And this draft, I think we should really just prioritize getting playmakers for Zach Wilson and just getting talent on the defense, just athleticism and young talent on the defense.
I would not forget about Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, who
Yeah,
Joe Douglas traded for at the trade deadline, who has actually been pretty solid for what we got him for. I mean, we traded
definitely.
Dan Brown to the
And
Chiefs, and then the Chiefs cut him like a week later, and we got him back. But I mean,
yeah,
LDT is a free agent at the end of the year. I would bring him back. I would give him a shot to compete for that right guard position. They actually did a mock draft yesterday on the Draft Network, which somehow gave me Kayvon Thibodeau at 4, which I'm not going to complain about. But
yeah.
I took Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa in the second round. He's a 6'7" tackle, but some projecting to play guard, and I would give him a shot at right guard. I mean, why not? Him and LDT would have a nice competition training camp, but this is just a mock in December when the draft is in April. So I mean, just throwing that out there.
Yeah, the board changes a lot, and once these guys test out the combine, we'll kind of get more of an idea of where they're gonna land. But like you brought up the second round. There's not a lot of people talking about the second round right now. That's gonna be huge for us. We got 2 picks, one from Carolina, one of ours. I definitely want to get a tight end in that range. I want them to upgrade a tight end twice this offseason. Whether you draft two, you sign one, you draft one. But there's a couple guys I like. Watermeyer out of Texas A&M, I believe, likely out of Coastal Carolina. 2 guys I've been looking at, but I definitely want to see improvement in the tight end room because in this offense, tight ends are very important. And you see like a guy like George Kittle in San Francisco and a young quarterback in their tight ends. It's like a great connection to have, a great safety blanket to have. I know there's a couple guys that might pop up in free agency, varying levels. There's guys like David Njoku out there, Dalton Schultz, maybe. I saw him that he might be a free agent, but you know, just want to bolster the tight end room. But you got anything else to talk about the draft, or you good?
Well, I just want to talk about that for a second. Having those 2 first round picks is huge. So, I mean, right now we're probably have what the 36th pick in the second round, and then we have
Yeah, I
Carolinas, which
think
is
it's
right
30.
behind
Yeah,
us.
it's like 35 and 39 or something like that. Right,
And I
right in that
mean,
range.
it's basically a first round pick. I mean, last year we got Elijah Moore with the 33rd pick or the 34th pick, and the
Yeah,
dude has been producing like a first round pick. I mean, he's shown flashes of potential to be a wide receiver 1 in this league. So I mean, having those 2 picks is huge. And if you can hit on at least one of them, I mean, you can get another really good playmaker for Zach Wilson.
absolutely. Thanks for coming on the show. It's been great talking about the Jets. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out Jimmy's content on Twitter. I'll link his stuff in the bio. And thank you. And as always, go Jets.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I guess for my Twitter followers, this is it. This is the face reveal.
Absolutely. All right. I'll see you guys.